we begin this next story, somebody was coughing in my ear, and that is because at this time of year, coughs and colds pretty much everywhere, and we're all doing our best to try and avoid them. But now, health experts are saying that adding vitamin D, that's right, vitamin D, not C, to our food could help prevent the common cold.
The vitamin, which of course is known as the sunshine supplement, try saying that after 3.5 hours of live telly, well, it's already proven to be beneficial for bone and muscle health, of course, but now research suggests that it could protect against those respiratory infections.
But should we be adding supplements to our food? Joining us now is the chair of the London Assembly Health Committee, Dr. Anka Sahota, and nutritionist at the Global Nutrition and Health Alliance, Nigel Denby. Good morning to you both. Both fit as fiddles and ready to have this discussion because, Nigel, it does seem that already when you go into the supermarkets, if you look in the cereal aisle or down the bread aisle, you will see products that say with extra vitamin this, with extra vitamin that. Is this something that should be more mainstream?
Well, I think what this study is suggesting is that we're looking for the mandatory supplementation of food, and that's where I struggle a little bit. You're absolutely right. Foods all over the supermarket shelves are already having added extras. One of the issues is, though, tomorrow we can easily be sitting here talking about what food manufacturers need to take out of food. I think they've got enough to do to clean up their act without them having to take the responsibility of maintaining our nutritional intake. Supplements, absolutely. We all need to be taking a vitamin D supplement at this time of year. There's no debate about that. It's whether we take it in a measured amount using a good quality supplement, or we really want to rely on food manufacturers and suits in Westminster determining how healthy our diet is. That's not what I want.
Dr. Sahota, where do you stand on this? Because vitamin D, they've discovered this link between fending off the common cold and flu, and as we know, that can be a nightmare at this time of year for children, old people. It costs the NHS millions every year. Do you think it's something that should be put into our food to help combat
first, looking at the paper, it doesn't say there's a definite association between respiratory infections and vitamin D. What it's saying is there's some evidence to suggest it's almost creating a hypothesis that we need to do more research. But having said this, vitamin D deficiency is very prevalent in this country, and I know it's being increasingly associated not only with bone diseases, but with also prevention of heart diseases and prevention of cancers and also the respiratory. So we need to do more research on it. We know that the rickets, for example, is going up in this country, particularly young children. In America, they have vitamin D added to their foods, and the risk of rickets and vitamin D is less in America. So there's a case to be made in certain groups. But I certainly do agree that the evidence isn't clear-cut in known disease areas.
You said that actually makes it sound like these people are making poor diet choices, so they're not getting their vitamin D. Obviously, we all know you can get it from sunshine, but you can get it from things like oily fish as well. I mean, these people have poor diets, so you then have to look at injecting vitamin D into, I don't know, cakes or orange squash or something like that. Where do you draw the line? I
agree with you entirely. If we had a well-balanced, healthy diet, we shouldn't need any supplements added to that. It is because we don't have well-balanced diets. So the education we need to give to people is about a well-balanced diet. But there are certain groups, for example, the BME community, who don't get enough sunshine and enough existence and enough exposure in this country. They need it.
And let's not forget, we already fortify spreads with vitamin D. That's a mandatory situation here in the UK. So we're already doing this instead of alternatives to butter.
Oh, okay, so margarine.
Exactly. Any sort of spread legally has to contain vitamin D already, and we're not meeting requirements. You're right, you can get some vitamin D from oily fish, from eggs, but you're not going to meet your requirements without getting more sunshine.
What is the requirement then? That's the thing, because we don't know, do we? We all take these supplements, so we don't know what our daily dose is meant to be and how we get it.
You're quite right. When vitamin D was discovered, we didn't know enough about it. We didn't even set a requirement for it. We believed we lived in a climate that would give us enough from sunshine.
The one thing I do know, though, is just how expensive a trip to a health food shop can be, and the point, the doctor's point is a good one. That actually supplements, as you well know, Nigel, can be incredibly cost prohibitive. If you mandate the food manufacturers to pop it in other foodstuffs, then at least the cost is spread amongst us all.
You're right about expense, but what we're also missing here is that children's vitamin drops containing vitamin D are available free of charge through the Healthy Start programme to all families that receive benefits, and the uptake of them is woefully poor because it's a complete shambles. You go from one area to another, parents have no idea how they actually get a voucher to then go and reclaim their supplements. This is something that if we streamlined and the government actually partnershiped with pharmacies or the supermarket, it would be so easy, and then we could expand that programme to include older people, to other at-risk groups. So absolutely, we've got to raise the profile of vitamin D, but I think just to throw the responsibility down at food manufacturers who, let's face it, we can't trust already because of some of the rubbish that they put in our food, I think it's just passing the buck.
Doctor, I want to ask you, apart from vitamin D, do supplements work? Because I'm a big supplement taker, I spend a lot of money on the high street, I don't even know if they're any good, but it's sort of preying on my insecurities about my health, and when I take them I feel I'm secure. I've taken my supplements, so I'm going to be all right.
I think you're absolutely right. What happens is that if you are deficient in something, those supplements do help. But if you have already, say for example, if you are already well up to B12, folic acid and iron supplements, adding supplements won't add any benefit to you. So if you have a healthy, balanced diet, taking supplements is a total waste of time, and that's why they're not prescribable on the NHS. They add no value to you at all. So the secret is take a well-balanced diet, make sure you're not deficient in anything. Of course, these manufacturers of supplements and vitamins do rely upon the fact that we have the suspicion that we may be deficient in something. But the key secret is a right, healthy, balanced diet, and then you need nothing. I've never taken a supplement in my entire life.
Can I just add to that, though? I've been banging on about a healthy, balanced diet since I can't remember, but you're absolutely right. With vitamin D, you will not get enough from food. So if you aren't getting enough sunshine and you're not confident that you're going to be using enough spreads or whatever, I personally will take a vitamin D supplement, and I would recommend all of us to do that.
People talk about the Mediterranean diet. It's actually not the diet, it's the fact that they just have more sun.
Bit of both. Bit of both.
And eat a lot of eggs and fish. All in the mix is all good.
Wouldn't it be much better if we just had more sunbathing and took a nice holiday just to sunny weathers rather than taking supplements and putting pressure on our kidneys and livers?
I can't go on a holiday anytime soon, but I know I'll be buying from a local health store today. Thank you very much, Nigel Denby and Dr. Onka Sahota. Thank you. We're going to go and talk to Adam now. Fit as a fiddle, raring to go. Today's All Out Politics. What's coming up, Adam?
Well, not much sunshine in this studio.